Using baby wipes is a fun way to create backgrounds, but you can also use them as an ink pad to create beautiful watercolor effects. To do this technique, you'll need a solid image stamp. In this case, I'm using a stamp from the Gina Design set called Tropical Flowers. However, you can easily substitute the flowers from the Elegant Flowers Showtime stamp set that came in your Stamp TV kit. The tools and products that you're going to need to do this technique are some basic baby wipes. I purchased mine at the local pharmacy, and I like the fragrance-free ones because then they don't have the perfume smell. I also am going to use some dye ink re-inkers. I have Memento bamboo leaves, potter's clay, and rich cocoa. I'm going to have a paper towel handy just in case I have a spill or I need to clean something up. Also, I'm going to use some of the Gina Design's Pure Luxury 80-pound white cardstock. I like this cardstock for this technique because it has a nice smooth finish. You can also do this with glossy cardstock, but plain cardstock will work just as well. Okay, to begin, I'm going to make myself an ink pad. And I'm going to do that by grabbing 2 baby wipes out of the pack. And I'm going to fold it up just in a way to make it a little bit squishy. Like that. And as you can see, I'm working on my score mat, so all of my ink and anything I get on my score mat will just wipe right up. Okay, so I'm going to take this little piece of baby wipe and I'm going to create an ink pad by putting some re-inkers all over it, just in droplets like this. And you want to do this very randomly. You don't want to make a line. Some green. And a little bit of the rich cocoa. And you'll notice how they're kind of spreading into one another. That's what you want them to do. Now if you miss a spot, you have a bare spot, just go ahead and go back and add a little bit more in there. That's fine to do. Okay, now that looks like a mess, but it's actually going to make a beautiful ink pad. So I have my piece of cardstock. I'm going to ink up the stamp, just like I was using an ink pad. And you'll see it looks kind of wet, but that's okay. Make sure it's completely inked up. And then I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm putting it right in the same spot so that I'm hitting it with the same colors. And I'm just turning my stamp a little bit. And one more time, inking it up and stamping it again. And as you can see, wipe that off my score mat. As you can see, I stamped off the edge so it appears as though that foliage is growing right up off the card. I created a card using this technique for you. And on my finished card, you can see that I used both this technique and the baby wipe background technique. And you can see how well they complement one another. By using these 2 techniques together, you can perfectly match your background paper to your stamped image. I spaced out my lines and used a lighter touch for a more subtle background in this particular project. The baby wipes technique is an easy and inexpensive way to produce beautifully coordinated projects.